Welcome to Dark Horizon Creations. I'm Mike, and today we're taking a look at the Click and Play Military Buggy playset. Now, if you hadn't already, please follow, like, and subscribe to my social media accounts on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Don't forget to hit that bell icon so you get a notification of when I post new content. So last week, I placed an order with Amazon for a bunch of the Click and Play military play sets. I got the Fast Attack vehicle, the Watchtower, the Elite Force Humvee, and I ordered the Click and Play Black Hawk helicopter and one of the boats to cannibalize for parts. And you know, this was totally an impulse purchase. I didn't intend to order this. I was just ordering the helicopter, but when I saw it, I decided to go ahead and get it. And I'm actually going to be ordering a few more of these. And we've seen these over the years with, you know, different labeling and packaging, World Peacekeepers, I think True Heroes, what other brands. I believe they're all produced by the same Chinese manufacturer, Chap May, I think. I don't know who produces Click and Play, but I just presume that it's a Chinese manufacturer. And I don't know if Motormax has ever produced these under their label. I do know that they have a version of the Black Hawk. Nonetheless, it's still a really cool toy, and it's based off of a real-world military vehicle. Now, if you don't know anything about the actual combat vehicle, it's produced by Chenowth Racing Industries out west here in the United States. They're an Israeli company, and back in 1982, they produced a two-seat variant of this vehicle, and it was really based off of an earlier racing design, and the vehicle had the same chassis, same frame, and it had a 200 horsepower engine in it. And if I'm not mistaken, it's the same engine that was in the Volkswagen Beetle. So there were 120 of those vehicles produced for the U.S. Army's 9th Infantry Division, and it was intended to make them more mobile. And they just experimented with the vehicles, did research on them. I think there was some training done up in Washington and then down at Fort Bliss, Texas with the vehicles, and essentially that was it. And most of them got left out in the desert at these bases, left to rot. I think they were used for maybe target practice or something. And less than 2 dozen of them wound up in the hands of private collectors over the years. And some of the guys have restored them to look like, they did when they were sold to the Army. Others have just done different things with them. But out of that first generation of vehicles, Chenowth produced a second generation called the Desert Patrol vehicle. It looks identical to the toy you see on the box. And it is a 3-seat variant, and the third seat is a gunner seat, where he has access to the Browning M250 caliber machine gun in front of him, as well as the M60, and later that was replaced with the M249 general purpose machine gun to his rear. The seat will swivel. And the vehicle was designed for overland intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance, and hit-and-run type missions. They first saw combat in 1991 during Operation Desert Storm. Some of the SEAL teams used them to go across the border from Saudi Arabia into Kuwait, and they actually went behind Iraqi lines inside of Kuwait City and gathered intelligence on the disposition, the location, size and things like that of the Iraqi forces, and reported that back to CENTCOM. And it's the only production vehicle in its class that's ever been used in combat. The only one. So the Desert Patrol vehicle went through another iteration, third generation, called the Light Strike vehicle. Again, it looks identical to the vehicle you see on the box. There were just modifications. I think the engine was changed. They may have done some work to the suspension, but overall, same vehicle. And they're still in use today. Primarily, they've been used by the SEALs, but they've also been used by the Army as well. The Marine Corps had a variant of it at one time, and I think they've rotated that out of service. But they've been used in Operation Desert Storm. They were used in Operation Enduring Freedom in Afghanistan, and they were used again in Operation Iraqi Freedom. It's a 2-wheel drive vehicle. Top speed will max out around 65, 70 miles an hour. So let me point out very quickly on the packaging what you see on the box. So on the box you see the actual vehicle. There's a oversized looking gun on the front. That is a Mark 19 automatic grenade launcher. It's not that big, but that's what it's meant to be. Right above the driver, you see these 2 long tube looking things. Those are AT-4 shoulder mounted rocket launchers. That's an anti-tank weapon. In between those is the Browning M2 heavy machine gun, and behind that third seat is the general purpose machine gun. You see those two side baskets on the side, they're mounted to the frame, and that's used just what they're showing it in the picture to hold ammunition and their rucksacks and any other equipment they can stow there, like their small arms. One of the buggy, the setup for the headlights and the rail and the suspension, all of that looks accurate. So we're gonna open this out of the box right now. I haven't opened this before, so let's see what it's all about. Oh yes, I'm liking this. Yeah, that's awesome. Even the engine looks fairly realistic to what I've seen. The suspension's realistic. There are 2 shocks on each rear wheel and a single shock on the front. And I like how they've done it in that gray color. Man, this is nice. Yeah, I gotta have a couple more of these. So let's see, there's all the small arms, weaponry and stuff like that. Let's take a look at the action figures first. So, they're not bad. They've got a lot of articulation on them. I mean, their proportions are really off, but they'll stand up on their own. There's the Mark 19 automatic grenade launcher, and that's way big. It's nowhere near that size. That's funny. So I presume that, let's see if I can get this thing together. Okay, let's see if we can put this together. It looks like yeah, those are going to clip in like that. I like the Browning. I think that looks cool. My question is, I think that, yeah. So there is an M60 A3 machine gun. There is an M16 A2, and it's all jacked up. There's a Car 15, and it's all jacked up. These are made out of really, really soft rubbery plastic. These guns are crap. Here's the ammo belt for Mark 19, and it would go in there like that. You would lock this down. All right, so we've got the Light Strike vehicle out of the box and assembled. Extremely accurate and detailed. I do like that about the vehicle. And I've got one of the action figures assembled and inside of the vehicle. And you can see all the way around, it looks really nice. I think they've done a good job with this vehicle. I really do. I think it's, you know, decent for the price point. It's nice looking. Now let's talk about size for a moment. From the front to the rear, this vehicle is right at 9 inches long. That is 23 centimeters for those of you across the pond. It is just over 4.5 inches tall, or 11.5 centimeters. It is 12 centimeters wide and 4 3/4 inches wide. On the Mark 19, you can lift the loading tray cover and load the belt in there, close it. It will pivot up and down and turn, but the belt will come out because it's that soft rubber type stuff. And your M250 cal will pivot left to right. I don't know why they didn't include a belt for the 50 cal. That's something I'm going to have to make for it. And you can see the AT4 rocket launchers up here. They will come off, and the action figures can use them. I think that's really cool. On the back for the rear-mounted machine gun, you guys can see this is just flimsy as all get out. I mean, there's no sense in even trying to attach this back here. The way the instructions show it attaching is something like this. I don't really care for that. And one thing I will point out, on the bottom is a speaker, and there's 2 buttons here and here. So evidently there was at one time a battery operated version that made sound effects. And you can see the figures inside the driver's seat there. Realistic for the scale of what it would be. Nice vehicle. I like it. The things that come into question are the action figures and the accessories, of course, which you just saw. It took me 20 minutes to get these vests on the figures. And they're this, and you can see this one's already coming off. It's like soft rubber, and you have to run these sections through here, and they've just got like this little friction point to hold them on. And I actually broke one on this figure right there. But it literally took me 20 minutes. I had to actually get a pair of pliers to pull these things through, get that little notch to stay in place. And you can see this one's come out. And they will break really easy. I think this is a case where, honestly, you know, if they're made in China, wouldn't it have just made more sense to copy, you know, Elite Force and make an action figure with a molded plate carrier? I mean, they steal everything else from the United States, you know, plans for the Black Hawk and F-22 and everything else. So why not just copy an action figure? As far as articulation is concerned, the head will swivel left to right, forward and lateral movement at the shoulder. Arm swivel there, single jointed elbow, wrist swivel, waist swivel, forward and lateral movement there at the thigh, lower leg rotation, single jointed knee, and the foot will pivot front to back. And again, for the accessories, the guns are just warped. I think this is an instance where I may, if I can make these figures work, that's just soft rubber. That's ridiculous. I'm going to end up ordering a whole bunch of stuff from Marauders, particularly small arms, some figures as well. Kit out all of these vehicles that I'm ordering. And you can see he will fit in the gunner seat. Let's see if we can get his hand up. The M250 cowl doesn't have horizontal handles coming off. It's got two vertical handles in the back. That's just the way they've made that. But it is what it is. Really nice looking toy. It's worth it to get the vehicle, if nothing else. So guys, there's the Click and Play Chenowth Racing Industries Light Strike vehicle.